I don't know, Dallas. We got to talk about this. It's just, I don't even know what to say about the way that 10th inning went. Very, very strange. Not that they would have won the game anyway if they scored that run, but for Hector Borg to hold up Drew Gilbert at third base is just unfathomable. We're going to get into that
probably
right
the fastest runner. Now, of course, there are no outs, right? You're going to have two chances to get him home. Any team, most likely, is going to score that run 75% of the time. So, I mean,
Chapman, all he had to do is make contact. Again, got to make contact. Arise, you can't blame him. He drilled it. But this is a funk right now. This is a funk they're in. They get swept by the Phillies. I was concerned about this, Dallas, when they fired Rob Thompson the day of the game starting Tuesday. I was like, okay, this isn't good. This isn't good. They needed a jolt. They got their jolt, and then the Giants hand them 2 victories. You could live with the 7-0 loss, but the Giants should have swept today.
The Giants were 1 out away from the win in 2 different games today.
Yes.
1 out away, and just get the out, and you win. And in both cases, they couldn't get it done. Horribly disappointing. I mean, the first game, yes, you can pin it on Ryan Walker, but the Giants scored only 2 runs. So, that's on the offense too. In this next game, the Giants, put 5 on the board. Now we've established that usually gets the job done. They weren't completely inept in this game. They scored 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 9th. So, they're putting runs on the board consistently throughout the game, and you have to kind of hope that your bullpen can hold it there. But they couldn't, but that doesn't mean that you have to just lie down in extra innings when you get that free runner. They started out really strong in the 10th inning, and then, their guys couldn't come through. So disappointing. And then, of course, you can stop them in the 10th inning. But what do the Phillies do? They put down a bunt. They get them over to third and set themselves up for the win. And then they get it. They wasted no time.
Perfect.
They made it look easy.
Bunt. Yeah.
10th inning is actually really easy to score a run. You move them over to third. You have less than 2 outs. It doesn't take a hit to get them in. Of course, they got a hit anyway, but it didn't take one.
Yeah. So it's unreal, this team, how they lose this game and just in a fashion that is absolutely unbelievable. Hey, guys, in a few minutes, I'm going to step away for about 10 minutes. Los may join us here a little bit later in the show, maybe in about 5 to 20 minutes. I don't know, depending on his schedule. But Los D may jump in. There's a lot of people that have a lot of comments tonight. Here's my take, guys. And I am the voice of... How do I want to say this? I don't hold back. I don't do sugarcoat things. I don't like to be the fanboy. Remember, just look up there in the corners of our logo. It says no homers. No, what is it? No homers.
Just truth.
Just truth. We tell the truth. I am sick and tired. I am sick and tired of listening to NBC Sports Bay Area with everybody defend the Giants. And I love Ron Wotus, but there's no excuse to defend Hector Borg. Just tell it like it is. I get it. You work for the Giants. You were a third base coach, and, I'm listening to him in the post game, and he's saying, Well, at that point, he realized that maybe he's got to make a quick decision, and the top of the order's up, and but you can change your mind when you see the balls rolling away in the outfield and nobody's running close to get it. Gilbert was stopped around third. He could have started up and win again. The ball was not. He probably could have walked home, because by the time Gilbert stopped, no one had picked up the ball yet.
Yeah, he should have scored. If it was going to be close, be conservative, right? You don't want to make you have that run at third base. You don't want to make the first out at home plate. But if he's going to make it, if he's got a really good chance, then you send him, and he's fast.
Look, by the time somebody got to the ball, Gilbert could have started up again. He was 80 feet from home, and they would have had to pick up the ball and turn and fire and throw a strike. And Dave Fleming was beside himself and just couldn't understand it, which I like to hear. At least he's given us honest takes. I am so tired of NBC Sports Bay Area just sugarcoating everything about the Giants. Who do I blame for this? I don't know who to blame. Is it Larry Baer? I don't know. Who makes these guys into pansies and can't get on these guys' asses when they need it? If this was back in Philly or New York, these guys would be hammering the team and saying, you can't do that. Look, you can't. This team has a history of stranding runners at third base with no outs or less than 2 outs, with 1 out or 0 outs. They have a history of not being. Why? Because you got guys like Crapman and Devers that can't hit the ball. And Adames. These 3 guys are the most highest paid players on the team, and all as they do is strike out in key situations. They were giving the entire right side to Chapman. All he had to do was hit a weak ground ball. Just a weak ground ball that probably would have rolled into right field, but even if it didn't get into right field, the runner would have scored. Look, there's times to go up there and try and smash the ball, and there's other times where you just try to get the bat on the ball and just put it in play. And Willy Adames is, in my opinion, a complete disaster. You have 3 guys, Dallas, Devers, Chapman, and Adames, that are the de facto leaders on this club. And they are the 3 guys. Chapman's having the best of these season of these 3. And I'm not going to rip Chapman too much because he did strike out, but that happens. He plays great defense. He didn't do a whole lot wrong tonight other than the strikeout. So I'm not going to really get on Chapman. And Devers got a sac fly and a base hit tonight, but he still struck out 4 times. And they're right down the middle. They're just right down the middle, and he can't catch up with it. So that's my take. I'll be back on this some more. You can continue. Sure. Guys, I'll be back in like 10 minutes. So, and Dallas will take over. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back, and Dallas can handle everything. He'll give you his honest takes, and Los may join in as well shortly. All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right. So, what Dan says is completely correct. We talked about it before the game about changing up the order, and you got these guys in the middle of the lineup that are complete zeros right now. Now, Devers does get a little bit of credit this game because he came through, knocked in a run. That is good. It's his first RBI of the series. But that was good. Now, I'll give him credit for that. But Casey Schmidt deserves a lion's share of the credit because he was aggressive. He took third base. He turned that into a triple. And, I mean, because he was busting his ass the whole way, turns it into a triple. And then, he scores on that single. So it was his hustle that got him into that position to be able to score in that situation. Or was that the sac fly? That might have been the sac fly, is what I'm thinking of. Someone can correct me here. So I think at this point they need to adjust things in the order because you have Lee, who's hitting right now. He had 2 hits in this game, but he's hitting ahead of Adames. So he's got a couple of zeros, Devers and Adames, ahead of him. So if you could move him in the order, move Devers and Adames down. I know it's a bad look because these are your 2 highest paid guys, but they're not producing. They're hitting. Adames is now hitting 197. So his 1 for 5 didn't hurt. It didn't help him. It helped him a little bit. He went up half a percentage point today. Devers 1 for 3 with a walk actually improved. He went from 203 up to 207 now. So get moving the right direction. But it's just tough with those guys not producing at all. Hey Chardal, how's it going? Really tough game. I mean, Hauser started off giving up 2 home runs, the first 2 batters of the game. On the first pitch of the game, gives up a home run, and we're thinking at that point, we are in trouble. And to his credit, he was able to, put 3 zeros on the board after that, and didn't give up any more runs until the 5th inning. So at least he gave the Giants a chance to try to get back into the game, and they did. They scored 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and then it was a tie ball game at that point. He took the lead in the 6th, 4-2, and then let's see, 4. Oh, they tied it 4-4, and then they both scored a run in the 9th, and then of course the Phillies in the 10th. So yeah, the Giants had a chance, in both these games, 1 out away, and yes, Ryan Walker could blow a save, but to blow 2 saves in 2 consecutive games at the end of the game, I mean, when you had a chance to win and you end up walking away with a sweep, boy, so disappointing. So, and at this point, going into this game, we're like, well, Killian is, is still really good. He could be our guy. And he pitched 2 innings in this game earlier on and struck out 2, did real well. So he's still in the running, to be able to be used in these later innings, later positions. Keaton Wynn gave up the tying run in the 9th inning, and then Gage wasn't able to hold it down in the 10th. Now, I don't think you have Wynn as your closer in the 9th, blows the save, and at that point, it's kind of a new ball game. You bring Gage in, and he's not able. He gives up the run. But of course, the Phillies executed with that ghost runner on second base. Executed, got it done, made it look easy, and the Giants struggle mightily in extra inning situations with that, runner on second base and nobody out. They can't advance the runner. In this case, they got the runner. They got first and third with nobody out, and then bang, bang, bang. So, I don't know. Hilliard here says it's not Tony V's fault. it's not Tony V's fault. Could he have done things differently? I mean, with the lineup, certainly. Should he have? Let me look back here and see if I can figure out. There was a couple pitching decisions here that I thought maybe could have gone differently. I'm going to try to figure out what that is. Let's look at the comments, though. Arise. Isn't it nice to have Arise on this team? That guy, he comes up and he gets 2 strikes on him, and I'm not worried. I know he's going to going to be able to put the ball in play. So it's very weird to when you get 2 strikes and you still have this confidence. Now, he did strike out in this game and the previous game, but the previous time he struck out before this was when the Phillies came to San Francisco 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks without a strikeout. I think that's maybe his 6th strikeout of the whole season. So he doesn't strike out. So having that guy come up in situations with runners on, he at least gives you a chance to get the job done. And he did knock in a run. He knocked in 2 runs in this game. That's right. So, yeah, he was solid. But when you got to be able to hold a lead, and they weren't able to do that. Johnny says this team is a 90-plus loss team. I don't think they're a 90-plus loss team. I think I was optimistic going into this, thinking that guys were going to have better years than they did last year. I thought, Lee would have a better year. Ramos, because Lee was not good last year. I thought, having a full year of Devers. I thought Schmidt would come into his own. Chapman was bad last year. So now, off to the start now, Ramos is having a good year. He got off to a slow start, but he's bounced back. 282, 750 OPS. Not bad. Chapman, now at 271. That's exceeding what he's done, his career average. So he's been fine. Arise has met or exceeded expectations. There's 3 that are doing pretty good. Schmidt is the best hitter on the team. No one expected that to be the case. He's hitting 300 with an 891 OPS. Schmidt's been good. But now you get into the doldrums. Adames, $197, Devers, 207, and Lee, who got off to a horrible start, just the last 2 weeks has bumped his average up to 300, a 785 OPS. Lee's is exceeding what we would expect for him, So we've actually got some guys that are doing well. Gilbert has done well, since he's come up. So we have a lot of guys in the lineup are exceeding what you'd expect them to do, but situational hitting and having a couple of zeros in the middle of the lineup that kill every single rally, that's what's doing this team in. So they're scoring 0, 1, 2 runs a game instead of the 4, 5, 6, 7 runs a game. And so, that was the case the first game of the doubleheader. The second game, the Giants put some runs on the board, and the pitching couldn't hold it. So, when Hauser's up there, you kind of have to, just say a prayer and hope that he can hold it together. He has been really bad the last couple of starts, and he got off to a horrible start today. The fact that they got 4 2/3 innings out of him is pretty incredible, actually. Hauser, he gave up 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 runs in 4 innings. Not outstanding, but that's a thing that you want to be able to overcome, with being able to cover that with your offense. And they really did. It just came down to, the late innings, giving up a run in the 9th and the 10th, and they gave it up. So let's look at the comments here. Who's got something to say? interesting. I don't know if that's the case. There's no proof that Girard would be able to hold it together and produce, if he got everyday at bats, but certainly not getting any at bats. He's not really producing when he's in there, when he gets an opportunity. The first game he was 0 and didn't look good doing it. Koss, I think that Vitello has forgotten Koss's name. Like, he was asked about Koss yesterday, and in his response he said, the player you mentioned, we need to get him in there more. Like he forgot what his name was when he was responding to it. So I don't know if Koss is going to be the savior either, but it's hard to do worse than Adames and Devers have done. So, maybe you might see him when they finally decide to give those guys a couple of days off, because it's coming. It's coming. Hey, Dan is back there. I got him down in the corner where he belongs.
Stuck in the corner on third base. Stuck on third base. Thanks. Right. Well, this new job my wife's doing, got to get ready for bed. She's got to get up early, so I wanted to go spend some time with her before. Dallas, I don't know exactly what you covered, but this is
we didn't solve any problems.
Yeah, this is demoralizing because they were 6-12. They're one game better now, 13 games later. So they've made up one game in 13. They were 6-12. Now they're 13-18.
Yeah.
So
they need. And unfortunately, Tampa Bay is a good team. They're no slouch. So you like to go and play a team that sucks and be able to, have some confidence going in. But it's going to be a grind. Yeah. And pitching wise, what do you got?
Their pitching's rough.
Let's pull it up. So they're not even going to have one guy on full rest. So I would assume that McDonald is going to stay around and pitch one of these games.
I don't know. They have to send. Who are they going to send down?
Gage.
Why Gage? How are you gauging that?
Let me look. Hold on. Let me look at the roster. They have to send someone down. You're right, because they only get Giants 26 man roster. Barucki, they can't send down. Brubaker, they can't send down. Gage, I think they can. Killian, they don't want to. McDonald, they can send down, but they might need him to pitch a game because they need a starter. They don't have anybody on normal rest.
Wait, who is supposed to go tomorrow?
Robbie Ray is going to go tomorrow. I think he's on normal rest.
They were supposed to have Webb was supposed to pitch last night, and Hauser was supposed to pitch today. So they had Monday
problem.
Off.
1, 2, 3, 4. It becomes a problem on Monday, right? They have Monday off?
Let me take a look. I think they do. Their schedule, they have no, they do not have Monday off.
Monday is the problem because Webb will not be on normal rest.
Yeah, he was supposed to pitch Monday, and now he's going to have to pitch Tuesday. So Monday's going to be a problem. And I see Los. Looks like he's out at Wrigley Field or something right now.
The ivy hasn't grown up yet.
Yeah, the ivy hasn't grown up. What brick is he? He's back. Let's see. What is he doing back there? Let's see.
It's a background.
It's a background, but no, I think he's standing out in front of bricks, and I think he's out. Maybe he's out selling Polish hot dogs or something. Well, let's see. Let's bring him in. Let's see where he's doing. Los.
What's happening, boys?
Hey, You got a background, but it's cutting half your head off as you move in and out.
Well,
It's
I could go back in and put my Soul Train background, but this is a sports channel, not music. So my Soul Train background is for PMP. But the way the Giants been hitting lately, bricks seemed appropriate. At least it's the right color, right? Orange.
yeah, orange and a little bit of black in there. Yeah. What I am just I'm at loss for words, Los. How they could not score that run in the 10th inning. Okay, you held them up, but you couldn't see that the ball was out in the outfield, and there was the center fielder was coming running in to get it. I don't even know if the shortstop was going after it. I can't remember. I'd love to see that play again, but I think I could have scored that run like a couple days after my hip surgery on my walker, using my walker to get home.
Yeah, I don't know how the third base coach doesn't get a little bit of an earful from the manager on that one. I don't know. I was thinking, Dan. I cannot remember because they used to play double headers back in the day. Quite a few of them. I cannot remember, and I got a pretty good memory. The Giants losing 2 games in almost the exact same way like that.
That is the first time since 1956 the Giants have got walked off in both ends of a doubleheader.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. 1956.
I was not born. I was not born yet. So
Hey, I wasn't even born yet. Wow.
well, that's saying something right
That's
there.
saying something exactly, man. I said I've been a fan since 68. The Giants didn't even get out here till 58. So that was 56, you said, Dallas?
56.
They were the New York Giants. But Dan, don't bring up Walker. Yeah, I said Walker. I could have walked home with my walker after hip surgery. But Ryan Walker, we'll get into that. We pretty much, Easter just happened, but we just put him. We kind of crucified Walker after the first show. But I'll tell you what, this is just but Walker deserved it. Yeah, that's the difference between the crucifix. Walker deserved it. Walker is he's not in the right position. The coaches have to figure that out. They have to realize that he has blown like 15 saves in 45 opportunities or something. I saw some stat out on Twitter today. I can't remember the number, but it's over a third of the time. You can't that's too much of a sample size. That's just a guy who's not cut out to be a closer. And with this Giants, I mean, hey, there was some good things. They were down 2-0 early, like 2 batters in, 2-0. Homer. And then they clawed back, made it 2-2, immediately coughed it up, and it was 4-2. And then they clawed back. So they showed a little heart today. And I was making a Twitter post, guys, and I want to get your comments on this. Did you notice Casey's triple? How many veterans would have stopped at second because they would have watched the ball thinking it would have been a home run, and they would have just watched it from home plate and maybe walked out a little bit. Then once it bounced off the wall, they would have took off and realized too late to get to third. Casey sprinted out of the box as soon as he hit it, realizing he's got a shot for 3 if it ball bounces the right way, which it did. And then he had a great slide right into third and then a great slide into home to score on the sac fly. I think, guys, and it's not because I'm a friend of Casey's or anything like that. I'm just watching with my eyes. I think he's the best player all around right now. I'm not saying he's going to be their best player. I'm saying right now, through 31 games, he's been their best player all around, I think, and then Arise second. What do you guys think on that?
That was the best sequence of the game. I mean, he busted his ass and got to third, and that was just pure effort. He got there, and then Devers hits the sac fly, and it wasn't very deep. It was a close play. Adames comes over and directs him where to slide, and they score. And that was just pure effort to get that run on the board. And at that point, I thought, oh, okay, Giants are here to play, and they're going to make this happen. They just that play really impressed me, and then so that's why it's even more disappointing when it comes down to the end, and they just
they had, like you said, they were an out away from winning both games, and they found a way to lose both. So, E. Miller, you guys that always want to point out different instances, I get it. He made a couple of blunders last week around second base and slipped and fell, but he's also in his fourth season, and if you looked at his total playing time and games played, this is really like his second full season, Casey Schmidt. So he's a younger player. He made mistakes, but you learn from mistakes when you're young. You're going to make mistakes. What we're saying, whatever your name was that said that, he hustles. Devers does not hustle. Devers, I swear, I hate the pro politics of just, I love the old college football or college basketball when guys were on scholarship, and there were several guys on scholarship, and if somebody beats you out, they just beat you out. But now it's all pecking order based on
salary,
your stinking contract.
Yep.
And I would say, Devers, till you figure it out, you're batting 6th or 7th. That's it. You're not going to be, and if that embarrasses you, tough luck.
Yeah, and you're
Man up.
DHing.
Yeah, and Casey's a better first baseman too.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing how hard you play and how hard you try before you get that guaranteed money.
Yep,
so it's kind of coincidental, isn't it? But you know what? I think some guys just their DNA. Like I could see Casey getting a good contract. I think he'll still keep playing that way. Just some people get just into their money and their funds, and they just don't. They're not as focused. And, it's just their three main guys, their RBI guys, Chapman, Devers, and Adames. If that's what you're rolling with, you're rolling with three guys that just strike out a ton. Are they able to drive in runs other than a home run? And so far, it's not happening. And I don't know if it's going to get any better. I really don't.
No, Chapman has one home run, right? Devers has one or two?
Two. And
Adames has
3.
He has 3? Okay.
I believe. Let me look. Let me look here.
They're not going to put up big home run numbers. I know Adames hit 30, but Dallas, I was telling Dan this in a private conversation that look around the league, like Aaron Judge, even the great Aaron Judge, he has 12 homers and 20 RBIs. And just look around baseball and just see all these guys, these, big power hitters, look at their home runs and their RBI ratios. And it's not too far apart, which means they're hitting a lot of solo homers. And it means that they're not hitting with men in scoring position. It's not just a Giants problem. It's a baseball problem. When Willie Adames comes up as a right-handed hitter, as Chapman does, with a man at third, less than 2 out, and a second baseman is basically right there next to second base, you have a Grand Canyon opening there on the right side of the infield. Choke up on the bat. They're going to throw you away anyway. Everybody throws hard to begin with, and just steer it into right field, and that gets the run home. But that's not sexy, and it's not hitting the ball over the fence, and it doesn't help you for your next contract. And that's the problem that I have felt for quite a while, in that it's become an individual sport, not a team sport. Not do what you need to do to win the game, like you see in the WBC. Do what I can to pad my stats, and that philosophy just stinks. In general, not just with the Giants, but we see
the teams that win, they do have that team philosophy.
Yep,
like the Blue Jays last year. The Dodgers, they have a lot of mercenaries, and they just are that good. But the other teams that compete are the ones that really play as a unit and play, make play not for themselves but for the team and make decisions that fit the situation. And we need to see more of that if they're going to be able to string wins together, because it doesn't take many runs for this Giants team to win. We've looked at their record when they score 3 or more runs. Now today, the second game didn't work out, but in general, they are winning games if they score 3 or 4 runs.
Yeah, they're what'd they lose? This is the first time they scored 5 runs tonight and lost 6-5.
Yeah.
Let me ask the two of you in the chat, if ownership and the manager got together with a big powwow meeting, and between the 3 that I just mentioned, Chapman, Devers, and Adames, they came to a conclusion that one of them needs to go. One of them needs to be traded. Not who do you want them to trade. Who do you think of those 3 they would be more likely to move off of? Chapman, Devers, or Adames in a trade?
That's the unholy trinity right there, man.
I know, but the unholy trinity is not doing much. So
if you ask me,
that's a good name for them. The unholy trinity. Chapman, you remember Tinkers to Devers to, was it Devers? Tinkers, Chance. What was that one? Tinkers to, I thought it was Tinkers, Devers to Chance. What was that one, guys? Help me out. That's a double. It was a 3. There's a famous, I thought it was, maybe, was it Devers? Tinkers to somebody to Chance. Anyway, I think out of the 3, Chapman might be the most tradable because he's an elite third baseman and teams are looking for that, and he's solid player. He'd fit with the right team. I think Chapman would be the guy that would make the most sense. If I could do it in the order that I wanted to do it, it would be Devers. I would move off of Devers because I got 7 more years of this. Guys, he's really, they have 8 full years of Devers with this year. Now, I want to say, I hope he turns it around. I don't see signs of it because he's missing balls that are just right down the middle. And this isn't just like a little slump. This has been going on since he got here. I don't know what it is. He doesn't look like he's much of a, he smiles. Sure, he smiles when things are going a little okay, but I don't know. Adames, is it a position of need? They need a shortstop, but he's not worth anything. To answer your question, to narrow it down to one, it would be Chapman, but I would get creative and do all 3. I really would. I would get creative, guys. Look, you think about this. If they were able to get rid of Devers and Chapman and Adames, and let's say they had to pay $10 million a year on each of these guys, okay, to make it more palatable for another organization to say, we'll take on that contract, but we only have to pay, in Adames' case, we're going to pay $16 million a year. In Chapman, we're going to pay $15 million a year. In Devers, it's going to be like $17 million roughly a year. That's a doable thing for teams. So the Giants are paying $30 million a year for the next 6 years roughly. But who's going to replace those guys? You're not going to be paying Eldridge much. You're not going to be paying Schmidt all that much. Whoever becomes your shortstop, whether maybe it could be a Johnny Level in a year. Maybe a Johnny Level can,
or Josar Gonzalez or a Gavin Keelan. They have people coming up that can fill that role.
And then you're not paying all that money, so you're really saving money, and then you're building something. See, I think the Giants are still 3 years away. I think the Giants really start to, if they do this right, by around 2029, they could be starting to be like the 2009 Giants, who won 86 and lost 76, or was it 87 and 75, whatever, the 2009. And then they were building that nucleus. And if you draft right this year, if you get a Jackson Flora, for example, as your fourth pick, who's a stud from Santa Barbara, becomes an ace. Now you have that ace ready to go. If for some crazy reason, Tchaikovsky, this guy who's from the Bay Area, says, I don't want to sign with the White Sox. I'm not going to go play for the White Sox. And then whoever has the second pick, I can't remember who it is, and the third, if he says, I'm not signing, I'm a junior, I'll stay another year at UCLA, unless I'm going to the Giants. You can do that. Players can say, I'm not going to sign. And those organizations may pass on you because they know that they don't want to risk losing that. And the Giants can pay him over $10 million. They got a $14+ million pool. They could say, we're going to give you 10, 11 million signing bonus of it. And those other teams may not be willing to go that high.
Well, let's hope with this fourth pick in the draft that the Giants don't reach like the 49ers did. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah. Well, the Giants, they would like to get this kid possibly out of high school. His name's Grady Emerson, I believe. He's a stud hitter out of Texas. They think he'll be the number 2 pick. He could even go 1, possibly. Tchaikovsky is 2. Who's 3? A lot of people are saying Jackson Flora may go 3. Both Flora and Tchaikovsky are from the Bay Area.
What position, Dan?
Tchaikovsky's a shortstop, stud shortstop. He's ready to play soon. He'll be major leaguer very quickly. And Flora is a stud 6'5" ace who's like pitched 10 games this year where he's given up 1 run or less for Santa Barbara.
When I looked at the mock draft, it seemed like of the first 15 players, 8 of them were shortstops. Like, since when did shortstops become like the best hitting position in college and high school baseball? What happened to the great hitting outfielders and the third baseman?
They just all play shortstop and then they move them later.
They move them. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this comment right here? And I kind of agree with it. A lot of times great players, just because they're a great player doesn't mean they can run a front office.
Yeah, Lynch wasn't qualified either. He had no experience.
Yeah.
Neither one of them. Great ball players, but neither one of them had experience coming in.
Yeah. And, pick organizations need to find people that just are, their job is to go out and they rely on scouts, and that's what they do. Just because these guys played, I mean, Buster is totally learning on the job right now, 100%. I'm going to take a phone call. Go ahead, guys.
Sure.
The frustrating thing, Dallas, for Buster, I'm sure when he's by himself and he's got all his thoughts, like on paper, he put together a pretty decent team.
On paper, absolutely.
I mean, just
no
like
one would have
guys,
predicted that. Adames got off to a horrible start last year too. Maybe not as bad as this year, but that's kind of a known thing that he does. Devers, no one thought that he would be this bad, and it's unlucky because if Devers is good, the Giants probably have won a lot more games than they have right now.
What is it about so many guys that are notorious slow starters? Like, if I'm a slow starter 2 consecutive years, like, I might want to change up my routine, whatever that is, before you even get to spring training. Because it's just getting old where it's just when Adames is hitting like 170 in middle of June, I always hear the comeback, well, he's just a slow starter. Same thing with Devers.
Right.
Well, why is that? Like, they got to be held accountable. Like, whatever you're doing is not working. You need to either be in shape or take
course.
more batting practice, whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
they need to take more at bats in spring training instead of just
People
like
say,
one
"Oh,
at
it's
bat
the
and they're out
weather."
of there. Yeah.
Well, invest in a long sleeve shirt that you wear under your jersey.
Right.
I mean, whatever the problem is, address the problem. Fix the issue. You can't just go into every season. Yeah, I'm going to be a 0 for April and half of May, and then I'll get it going. No, you got to, if you're notoriously a slow starter, figure out a way to become a fast starter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why
it's
is it
cold.
acceptable?
It's colder in Boston in April and May than it is in San Francisco, and I don't think Devers was a slow starter in Boston.
He's not a slow starter. He was a slow starter last year. That
Yeah.
was the only. He's actually been worse in May and June. I think someone said. I heard on the radio. So, he has the June swoon or whatever. So I guess we have that to look forward to in a month.
Oh, yeah.
I just think today's was a really tough day because now you got to get on that flight to Boston, or not to Boston, but to Tampa, and you got to just bear down and hope the veteran Ray comes out and deals tomorrow, and find a way to play scrappy. I mean, I thought the second game they showed me something. They came out and played pretty scrappy. I mean, granted, there's not a whole lot the team can do when Hauser coughs up the first two. I mean, the first pitch of the game he threw was a home run, right, from Trey Turner,
Yeah.
and then Schwarber
and
just
the second pitch, or maybe the third pitch. I think
it was the third pitch. Yeah, and then it was just you're down 2-0, but they claw back, and then they get down again, claw back again, and then they take the lead, and you're thinking, yeah, this is good. But that leadoff double in the bottom of the ninth, and they are able to get the run home. Here's my problem. I don't know if you guys were watching this, but I'm going to put some blame on Patrick Bailey for both losses. Okay?
Ooh.
Why? Because in the first game, he called 9 straight pitches for Ryan Walker, all sliders. Los, from hitting, and if you get timed up on a pitch and you see it enough times, you're just waiting for the right one.
You're going to barrel it up.
And Bailey called 9. I don't care if Walker called him. And I don't think it's Walker. I think it's Bailey. Because I don't think these pitchers are shaking off Bailey. Bailey's making the calls with the whatever they call that automated. They push the buttons. What do they call that? It's not StatCast, is it? What do they call that thing?
PitchCom.
PitchCom. So Bailey's calling the same pitch. He does the same thing with Keaton Wynn in the 10th inning the 9th inning. Was it the 9th? To Schwarber. The same thing. He kept throwing the splitter.
Yeah.
And he threw it over and over and over. And I know he was afraid to throw a fastball. Does Keaton Wynn have a third pitch?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, then you
on
don't
that
belong.
On that one, Dan, that also could be a Vitella thing because, Marsh doubles, they walk Stubbs, then Trey Turner hits it to a double play. So now you got a runner at third, right? And
we're gonna get out of this.
Schwarber is up. Now, Webb gave up the home run to Schwarber, and he knew, I'm not going to let this guy beat me again. He walked him the rest of the game. They did not put him in the situation where he could beat them. Now you got a runner at third base. Schwarber's up. Why do you let him beat you there? Don't give him a pitch to hit. Pitch around him. His
run, Schwarber was the winning run.
Right. So he ended up being the tying run because he ended up being the winning, run anyway. right? I mean,
Well, no, they tied it in the 10th, 9th, and then they
right,
went to
but
the 10th.
he got on base on a double. He could have been the winning run in the 9th. So
Yeah, but there was 2 out. What they were trying to avoid was coming in too sweet with a fastball where Schwarber walks it off with a homer. And I
but I'm
understand
saying
that.
you could win it right there if you just pitch around Schwarber and then get the next guy. Well, of course, the next guy is Harper, so it's not like but
if you're
they allowed
throwing
him to tie the game.
if you're throwing a splitter, what happened in the 2012 World Series with Sergio Romo to one of the great hitters of all time?
Changed it up and gave him something he wasn't expecting.
He wasn't expecting a fastball from Romo. He thought he was getting sliders, that nasty slider that Romo would throw. And then he just froze him. He froze him.
That's
You know
pitching.
what? How about you come up near the letters with a fastball if you're afraid to put one down the middle? Maybe he chases. Maybe, he swings and misses, but he's not likely to hit it out if you put it. But to throw him the same pitch over and over and over, whether that's Bailey or whether that's Vitello giving the calls into Bailey, I don't know. But I don't remember watching Greg Maddux throw the same pitch 7, 8, 9 times in a row.
No. But I don't think you ever do that.
That's what they did today twice.
I know.
In the 9th inning in both games. And I don't understand it because
unless you have pitchers that have 2 pitches and one of them they can't control, so you're stuck with it. But in that case, that's the problem.
I mean, Dan,
what's going on.
Dan, you mentioned about you miss it, and all of us do, the days when just guys that played better got to play. Simple as that. Regardless of contract, regardless of status, regardless of seniority, whoever's playing better in a 162 game season is going to play. Now, that being said, Eldridge is raking right now, and they're still not calling him up. We just saw earlier this year that Susek came in and raked. And despite that, and despite Bailey not hitting at all, what did they do? They kept throwing Bailey out there the majority of the time. So this is again, getting back to a philosophical ignorance and stubbornness that what if they're afraid to call up Eldridge because he might hit and that's going to make Devers look even worse. So they're trying to save face now to the fans and the public instead of like putting, and I'm not saying Eldridge is the long-term solution. Maybe he might be hot for a week or two and then flame out, but at least give Devers some competition and some thought. Oh, I better pick it up, because when you're too comfortable and you're too secure, like it doesn't really matter about your performance. So I want them to like bring up and play the guys that are playing the best at the moment. Play the hot hand.
Exactly. So yeah, they should, because they had this guy. They obviously he's clogging up first base, and he's not hitting, and he needs to get going. So they do have to let him work through this, because he will eventually. You assume he's going to turn it around, because if not, they're kind of screwed either way. But there's between and Schmidt has been playing really well. So and he's been between those two. They're going to be out there, because one guy you want to get going and one guy is hitting the ball well. But at a certain point, I don't know, maybe you do figure out a way to sit Devers, give him a couple of days off, and let Eldridge come up and hit, because he's now it's AAA, it's in Sacramento, it's in the it's a very hitter friendly. AAA is very hitter friendly.
Yep. Pacific Coast.
So he could
League.
come up and he could struggle, and then you'd be having 2 guys.
Would he be any worse than Devers if you took? I mean, he can't. He cannot be worse than Devers. He can't.
No.
So
you can't.
The Giants put themselves in a tough position, because you now have Devers for 7 more years after this year, and if he really is older than 29, which I am getting word in my ear. Okay. This isn't just my take. I have heard this from people associated with the game in Major League Baseball who suspect the same thing that I do. Okay. This is not uncommon. It's not as uncommon as you think, because people who come from some of the countries, specifically more the Dominican, these kids have to be signed when they're 16 because they're not going to go in that international draft that they have, right? Well, it's not even really a draft. It's just signings, whoever you can sign. There's so much pressure to be young. If Devers signs at 16, but he's actually 20 or 21, not going to get signed, because by the time he gets stateside and all that, so they fall in love with these guys because they think they're all 16, 17. And in reality, many of them are, but many of them are not. And there's documentation of players that have played. Miguel Tejada was one of them. Okay. There's others. The only reason I question Devers' age is because he can't catch up to the fastball anymore. And this is what happens. We watched Brandon Crawford have a great year in 2021. Then he got the 2-year deal. And what happened with Crawford? It's just natural. It's what the first thing that goes is the bat speed. Why is Devers fly balls, the ones he hits? When your bat speed, you lose it, you lose distance as well. The faster the bat speed, the longer the ball travels when you make contact. I just see so many things that I know nobody will touch in the Bay Area media. So I'll be Grant Cohn. That's fine. I'll bring it up. Do I have concrete evidence that Devers is older than 20? No, I don't. I may be completely wrong on it. And a lot of people will say I likely am. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
I think he's older. I see too many red flags in his swing. The twitch is gone. He doesn't have that. Just go back and look at 3 years ago. Look at 23 season. Just watch his bat speed. Just watch 22, 21. He's a different player today. And he shouldn't be at 29. That's what I'm trying to say. At 29, you're in your prime.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was something in their contracts that says, if we find out that you lied about your age, your contract and your money is void.
Yeah.
Well, it's stupid that they don't have that anyway.
And to add to that, okay, so what if, I don't know what ounce of bat Rafi is swinging, but if he's swinging a 36-ounce bat and his bat speed is slow, maybe use a 34 or 32-ounce bat. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you know me well enough to know if it's not working, you better do something else, whether it's coaching or the player itself. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, because now it's getting mental. Dan, you know what it's like when you slump and everything is falling apart, it gets to be mental. Like even when you're hitting line drives.
Los. I've never been in a slump.
Yeah, right.
just my fantasy team is, but not me personally.
The proverbial 400 hitter, Dan Coach-Emilio.
Right.
Yes,
he comes out in the press and says he's not concerned about it. He's not frustrated. He's not concerned. He's going to be fine. And that's just kicking the can down the road until at what point do you become concerned? At what point do you try to figure it out? At what point do you go down to a smaller bat, a lighter bat? At what point do you get your eyes checked and make sure that you're seeing the ball, as well as you should be? Go see Dr. Craig Bindi with the Laser Eye Center of whatever.
Is he one of our sponsors? Hey, yeah.
And this go ahead, Dallas.
But you can see how his swing is out of whack. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to slow it down and see how his his leg is coming down and his timing is off. So why aren't they working on this? Why aren't they comparing his swing from 2 years ago when he was good to now and say, okay, look at what you're doing differently here. We have these high-speed cameras that you can, slow things down to exactly what's happening. And I'm sure they must be doing this. They would be foolish not to do this. So I don't know. I'm not going to subscribe to conspiracy theories. I still think that Devers, as long as he's been a good hitter in this league, he will figure things out, get things back in where they need to be, and he will be a productive hitter again. He's not going to hit 200 all year.
So
and I hope I'm correct on that, because if not, the Giants got sold a terrible bill of goods that they're going to be regretting for years and years to come. So I'm going to have to just assume that he's going to figure things out. But right now, yeah, it looks bad.
Well, just think about this. Do you guys remember years ago there was a pitcher named Mike Hampton, and he was really good. And Colorado signed him and gave him a boatload of money. Okay, a pitcher in Colorado. They gave him a ton of money. And wow, what a newsflash and what a shock. He ended up being a bust because he put up great stats in a pitcher's park. They fell for it, and they gave him big money when he was going to Colorado, which is a hitting park. It's the exact same thing with the Giants, and Dan knows I've been on this for years. Like, you can't look at a guy that put up 1 year, maybe even 2 years of big numbers, and they're hitting in a hitter's park like Boston, like Milwaukee with Adames. You can't give guys like that. Maybe you sign them, but don't go over the top with ridiculous money, because they're just not going to put up those kind of numbers at Oracle. What puts up numbers at Oracle is contact, average, gap hitters with speed. That's the type of player. I've been on that for years.
Yep.
The Arias type of hitter, the Jung-Hoo Lee who's coming around. I'm not saying you go 1 through 9 with guys like that. You want a little bit of power. But when you have 4 or 5 power guys that strike out a lot in that ballpark, man, it's not going to work. I don't care what their resume says.
Take a look at this, guys. As of late April, which today's the last day of April, bat speed with the Giants, Devers is 71.2 miles per hour, placing him in the 35th percentile among Major League Baseball hitters. This indicates a decline from previous seasons, with his average exit velocity dropping to 90 miles per hour, reflecting a lower than average start to the 26th season for his standards. His whiff rate, his strikeout rate, almost 31. According to data on Baseball Savant, this performance represents a significant drop in his previously elite contact metrics. Reports suggest this decline in production is not due to just a change in ballparks, but is linked to this lower swing speed. Okay, I want to show you guys something else here. I can't play it for purposes because it's MLB protected or whatever, but I'm just going to put something up here and show you, and I want you to look at something real carefully and tell me what you see. All right, hold on here. I'm going to pause this. Okay, can you guys see that?
No, we can't.
Oh, I don't have it up there?
No.
All right, hold on. I thought I was sharing it. Oops. Come on. I don't want to. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you notice? What do you guys notice?
His foot's in the batter's box.
Look where his right foot is. Let me see if I can blow it up.
Yeah, it's like almost outside the batter's box.
It's more outside.
Hold on.
now.
Now is it bigger now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys notice?
It's an open stance.
Yeah, but what is his stance today? That right foot is on the line.
Yeah.
It's a good foot and a half closer to the plate. Now he has so much more movement to get to the pitch. He's
Right.
got to. That's why he's delayed.
Well, his whole swing is based on the timing of getting that foot down. He picks it up and sets it down, and it's late right now.
It's very late. Why? This is 2021. Why is he? Let me just get rid of that. But his foot is completely different. It's this much further back. That means that foot has to go quicker. He has to move it quicker to get in position.
Well, can you go back to that shot of him and his batting stance, Dan?
Yeah, let me go back. I can't play it because it's from MLB.
No, just a still shot. You don't need to
Yeah, I
play
know.
it. Just
Some people in the
pause it.
chat are asking me to play it.
Okay, so look at his batting stance just to begin with. I mean, look how the bat is like over his head. If I'm a pitcher that throws 95 plus, I'm just thinking I can throw him gas up and in, and he can't get to it. He has got to tinker. You know, maybe this batting stance worked for him ages 19 through 27, 28. When you get older and your bat speed does slow down, he's got to bring his hands down a little bit. That the bat behind his helmet like that, that is just a slow wind up. And he'll kill breaking balls if he can time it right. But with everybody throwing 95, 96, 97, anything up and in, he's just not going to get to.
You don't even have to throw it up and in these days. You just put it right down the middle and he's missing it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, just looking at his stance, that he's got to change it up. Again, I'm just a big proponent of when I don't and I don't know who their hitting coach is talking to him, working with him, and suggesting it to him. Who knows if he's open to that suggestion about maybe tinkering with his stance? I mean, that's why you get into the cages, and that's why you take batting practice. You mess around with things and change things when something's not working.
I want to take a look, at others, at his. There is a video out there. I'll see if I can find it and tell you guys where to go. There is a video comparing his 23. I mean, it's one of those videos that kind of mirrors right over. They take the swing and they show everything together. And it shows that his 23, I think it was 22 or 23 stance was similar to that, which I just showed, which was 21 versus now. That right foot, that front foot is way back. And they show how that foot has to, the timing of it, he has to bring it forward. He lifts it. Like you said, Los's bat is up here.
Way up there.
He's got to bring it down.
Yeah.
There's so many things happening. Somebody needs to just say, hey, make your swing a little bit more compact. You're trying to crush the ball and you don't have the bat speed anymore.
Yeah. I mean, this
and
is
he has his big contract. I always reference like they're playing for a contract. He has his big contract already. So you know what? Be the best player you can be. Shorten up your swing. And if you're a 280, 290 hitter and you only hit 25, 28 bombs instead of 35, that's okay. You're more valuable to the Giants if you're a better average hitter and come through with guys in scoring position.
What are some of the worst contracts that have happened in pro sports where teams have just had to cut bait?
Who was the third baseman that went to the Angels from Washington?
Oh, Rendon. Anthony
Horrible.
Rendon.
Yep. Horrible.
But they still have him, don't they? I don't think he's playing.
Kevin Brown to the Dodgers was a horrible contract. Even Jason Schmidt, when he left the Giants, the Dodgers overpaid for him.
I mean, there's examples of sports contracts where people end up having to eat them. I just don't know if Devers is tradable. You got to hope he gets hot because, look, there's one way that the Giants keep Devers that I would say you keep Devers. The clock turns over tomorrow. It's May 1st. The calendar turns over. It's May 1st. If May and June and July are productive all of a sudden and the Giants are like in the thick of the race for a playoff spot, you just say, okay, this is the real Rafi Devers. He's showing up. We ride with him. But let's say he doesn't show up and the Giants are not in contention. I think you got to bust the whole thing open.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire thing. It means Adames, Chapman, Webb, Devers. You do what you got to do because you can't keep running it back with vets and expect them to be better next year when they're a year older. Okay? Mm-hmm. This is what the 49ers have been doing. The Warriors have been doing it. Does anybody think that the Warriors are going to go anywhere with 38-year-olds when OKC's got a bunch of 24-year-olds and 25-year-olds that can run, in a lap? They call it getting lapped in a race, in a track race. They call it getting lapped. That's what's happening with the Warriors, and the Giants. They don't even have their players that are older. They're not even stars. It's not like we're going, oh my gosh, we got Aaron Judge who's 34. We've got Shohei who's over 30. We've got Schwarber who's well over 30. No, we got Adames and Chapman that are, Chapman just turned 33. Adames is like 30. If he's really 30, what is it that is so special about the older guys? Give me the youngest guys on the Giants, Schmidt and Lee and Gilbert, Ramos. They're the ones that are actually doing something. I mean, Webb is under 30. Bailey's the only one who's really not producing. That's really, one of their starters that's under 30. But Ramos is fine. Gilbert looks like he's coming around. Lee seems like he's coming around of late. He's hitting 300. Schmidt is balling. It's the old guys. Roop. Somebody said Roop. Roop's doing well. What are we afraid with going with younger? Why do we have to have older vets that are not good?
The Bay Area does not like younger guys. All three. The only ones that like young guys is the Sharks. We've been saying that. They let them grow, they let them make mistakes, and they let them learn. Look, all of us, me included, when they announced that Devers trade, we all thought, boy, the Giants got over. Are you kidding? Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, and Tibbs for Devers. And when you stop and take a look at it, all three of those young guys, they have upside. Their stock has probably nowhere to go but up. Maybe it flattens out. Maybe that never becomes something like Hicks. But Tibbs is raking with the Dodgers now because he got into a system and he got into an organization that probably worked with his stance, worked with his hands, and now look at him. Kyle Harrison didn't do anything with the Giants, didn't do anything with Boston. He goes to Milwaukee, and their coaching staff tinkers with him. All it takes is a little bit of an adjustment, and now guys that are busts are now really good players. But that older player that has made so much money and is stubborn and set in their ways, what incentive do they have to try to get better? So, they got Devers for the back of his playing card and his resume. And now it may turn out that, well, I don't think Hicks is going to ever amount to not too much, but Tibbs and Harrison might amount to something, and I don't know what's going to happen to Devers. But as bad as Devers is going, guys, I think he's going to come out of it more than Adames. I'm actually worried more about Adames.
Yeah, I could see that. And George says, I wanted Adames. Well, when they signed Adames, it was out of the blue. I never said I wanted Adames, but when they signed him, I was like, hey, that's a great signing. He was the best shortstop available. They didn't have a shortstop. He was coming off a great season. But if you remember, I also said his production's not going to be anywhere near what it was in Milwaukee. He had 112 RBIs in 24. I said he's probably going to end up with about 90. I don't even think he made 90. I don't know what he ended up with last year with the Giants. And the Devers trade, I was ecstatic. Like everybody else, I thought it was a steal. I can't believe we got Rafi Devers.
Yep.
But after seeing Devers now for the better part of, June last year, July, August, September, and I've seen him for a full month now. So I've seen him for 4+ months. I haven't seen anything that says star. I see a guy that has, he can wow you when he gets a hold of one, but I don't see any consistency that says, oh, I feel really good about Devers coming to the plate in this situation. I'm like, this tonight, Schmidt was up ahead of the count 3-0 in the whatever inning it was, ninth. Maybe they were trying to get another run across. They had just got one across. I think there was a man on third, maybe second and third. I can't remember the situation. But they got behind Schmidt at 3-0, and they had and I thought to myself, are they just going to pitch around Schmidt so they can get to Devers, and bring up Devers? Because it looked like that, but then they came back and got Schmidt to fly out. But I'm like, I don't get like the feeling like you get when a Harper, a Schwarber, an Ohtani, certain players that come up that are known for coming through. I don't get like, oh shoot, we got Devers. This is or Chapman or Adames. I really don't get that way, to be honest with you. The Giants don't have anybody that I get excited about. I was excited about Arise tonight coming up, and he smoked the ball, but he, Bohm got it. But I wasn't expecting Arise to. I was hoping he would just drive in the run, that he would just get the run home. I wasn't expecting anything dramatic, maybe of a flare, a hit somewhere. But who on this team, when they come up, you're like, you feel like, who gives you the most confidence when they come to the plate in a key situation on this team?
Arias.
Arise? That's probably about it. I mean, I think Casey gives you a pretty good shot at times, The guys I feel the least confidence,
Those three.
the three.
And
the
Bailey.
unholy trinity. That's who I feel the least confidence when one of those three. And Dallas and I have been talking about this since spring training. We said Adames and Chapman are too much similar. Now, Chapman has changed a little bit, and he's hitting – what is Chapman hitting, about 275-ish right now?
I would take that. I would take that all year.
But he sacrificed, though, his swing for to make contact. He's only got one home run, Chapman, now. Whereas Casey's got 4 homers and almost a fifth tonight, hit it off the wall. But Chapman is hitting – what is he hitting, Dallas? Let me look. I got it right here. Matt Chapman is now hitting on the season 271. You can live with that. You can live with 250 and plus with Chapman.
Yep.
If he's driving in runs.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember during spring training, guys, that the local media was trying to say that the Giants' left side of the infield is the best in baseball? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, did they take into consideration the hitting aspect of baseball, not just the gloves? Like, when you get big times contract, you have to be, pretty good at the plate and pretty good with the glove. And Chapman's hitting well. Let's see if he can sustain it. But boy, I don't know if Adames is going to come out of it. I don't know. He's spooked out, maybe like Devers of the ballpark, but they're not hitting on the road either.
Now Adames is that notoriously slow starter and a second half player in his career. He has, and he showed it again last year.
Well, I brought that up while you stepped away, Dan. Why do guys have reputations of being slow starters? Why? Why do they just accept it? Oh, I'm just a slow starter. That's not good enough. Okay, if you're a slow starter, how about you get minimum wage for April and May? When you start heading, your contract will be prorated. How about that? I would love them to be accountable, but no. Why do guys get, the benefit of the doubt? Oh, he's just a slow starter. That's crap. When it starts, when it starts, you need to be ready. Are you out of shape? Did you take enough at bats? Like these guys take one at bat in spring training and then they sit down and then they go play in the clubhouse for a little while. Maybe they should get more at bats to get ready.
Yeah.
Just like we're saying in football, why are guys getting hurt all the time? Because they don't practice two-a-days like they used to. They got ready for the season by hitting in camp. And in baseball, maybe you need to take as many at bats as possible. You know, it's not easy hitting a baseball. I get it. But this whole BS of, oh, I'm just a slow starter, that's just the way it is. I don't buy it, and I don't like it.
You could be a slow starter for a year or two, but at some point figure out how to make yourself a fast starter.
Right.
Yep.
He's been doing it a long time.
Hey, guys. The Giants they are now what, 13 and 18? Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right when they got close to being 500, they lose to a bad Phillies team. That stinks. And the way they lost 2 games today, that mentally, whew, if they bounce back and win, are they playing tomorrow or are they off?
They play tomorrow.
If they play tomorrow, if they win tomorrow, that's impressive because one bad bad loss like that can mentally mess with you. 2 of them, let's see how they bounce back tomorrow. I think they will. But Tampa's not a great hitter's ballpark at all. And Tampa's got the kind of roster construction that I like with their team, with their $60 million payroll or whatever it is. Yeah, if you haven't seen Chandler Simpson play, watch him. Watch him tomorrow and over the next few days, and just imagine him in left field leading off for the Giants. In that ballpark, you know how many triples he'd hit? Holy crap. Jeez.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to know what the Giants' record is since they obtained Rafael Devers? And he's played in every game. Let me tell you what his record was. The Giants' record when they his first game suiting up last year was Tuesday night, July or June 17th against Cleveland. The Giants were 41 and 31. We all know they finished the season 81 and 81, so they went 40 and 50 last year with Devers, and they're 13 and 18 this year with Devers.
15.
So they are
500.
They are 53 and 68. 15 under since Rafael Devers became a Giant. He was supposed to be the difference maker. What does that tell you if they are losing with Devers and he's not, I mean, his WAR right now is negative. It's one of the worst in baseball. It's he's costing him, it says like he's like a -1 on the season. Why not experiment with Devers a little bit and come up with some phantom 10-day IL?
Yep.
And see if get his mentally right, get him physically right, whatever it is. And what happens if they, in those 10 games, you know, they're 6-4 or 7-3, and they're win. You just say, we don't need this guy. It doesn't make sense on paper because you look at this guy and he's like a 275 career hitter. He's got 35 home run potential. He's got 100 RBI potential. He's got, the it factor when he blasts one. I mean, we should see balls flying into the cove like we did when Barry Bonds was here. I mean, I asked Casey Schmidt one time, who would win? I can't remember what the question was, but it was something about a home run contest between, on the team and who had and it was like, he just like, oh, Rafi. He just said he's got incredible power, just like unbelievable power. Well, we're not seeing it And if he's like, I don't know. I just don't know. There's just seems to be a mess right now, like a lack of direction in the front office. To me, it's still early. They've only
Yeah.
played 31 games. There's still another 131 to go. All right.
There's time to turn it around
There's
for sure.
very early. They're 5 games under 500. I'm not putting the fork in them, but I am saying right now on April 30th that come the end of July, if this team is a mess and they're not in the race for a wild card, you have to blow it up. You have to. You can't say, okay, we're going to bring Matt Chapman back for a 4th year, Willie for a 3rd year. By the time you decide to move off of guys, their value, like right now, I think Logan Webb is a great Giant. I think he is the guy you need on this team. But if they're not going to be winning, then you better do something to say, we've got to change direction. And we've got to get prospects while we can for him, because the future for the Giants, if they're not winning this year, they're not going to win next year with the same group. They're a year older. So at this point this year, if you're not in the race, move off of Webb, get prospects, move off of Devers, pay down the contract, get some prospects. Same with Chapman, same with Adames, same with Arise, same with anybody else that's got expiring close to deals, Robbie Ray, and shoot for when all these other young guys are coming up and say, okay, we're going to do what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing. St. Louis Cardinals are 5 games over 500, by the way. Whether that lasts or not, doubtful, but they are showing competitiveness. And I get sick and tired of people say, well, you can't give up. You can't just rebuild. Well, why can't
not?
you?
Why not?
Why can't you? People say the Giants aren't going to rebuild. What is this doing? This is going to be year 9 out of 10 if they don't make the playoffs. If they don't have a winning season, this will be 9 and 10. You've got to decide at some point that doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of an insanity. You can't tell me that you get excited about the offseason and going, well, we got Chapman back and Devers back and Adames back, and we really think this is the year we're going to put it all together.
Go ask the owners with the microphones off and the cameras off. Would you rather have a team that sucks that has a $260 million payroll, or a team that sucks with an $80 million payroll?
Yeah. And the other thing, Los, let's say they do have a good year. Not this year. Let's say it doesn't work out. And next year in 27, they play ball and the Giants, or 28, and these guys have this magical year. Does that mean you run it back with them because they had a 21 type season when Chapman's 34, 35? At some point, you just got to pick a doggone lane and say, we're going to go with it. I just get tired of franchises that don't have a vision.
Nope. They just want to put
Colorado. Philip just says we're chasing Colorado, Los. Colorado's going to be, yeah, right. You're right. We are going to be chasing Colorado because they did it. They decided we stink. We're just going to build up, and hopefully these guys will all come up and start getting good.
They got some nice young talent, especially in the lineup. They do. You know what's crazy is the Giants and the fans got a pretty good look at Dom Smith last year. I don't want to come out here and say that, it's easy to say that he's raking right now with Atlanta. No, when he was here, he was hitting. He is that type of hitter I'm talking about. He's not a big power hitter, but he's a good, solid 270, 280 hitter. He hits a lot of line drives, and he has a great glove at first. Not good. He has a great glove. So what's sad is if you ask every Giants fan out there, who would you take, Rafael Devers or Dom Smith? they're all taking Devers. Probably we would too. But reality for your baseball team to win games, not to put guys in the seats and buy Devers jerseys, to win games right now, Dom Smith is a better baseball player than Rafi Devers.
Hey, did we get to this, Dallas, when I was gone?
No.
Okay. James, $5 says, Posey and Lynch are good figureheads, but they should poach personnel people, scouts from the 2 Tampa teams, and actually follow their advice. I think that's a great advice. Yeah, Tampa knows how to run a baseball organization, and they know how they're doing with football. And this is what we've said many times.
I wanted their GM.
Go get some successful teams that are developing talent and grab one of their guys. And what do? What does Posey do? Okay. All right. I'm going to, where's my dog, Buster? Buster, close your ears. I obviously love Buster Posey. My dog's named after Buster Posey. But how foolish is it he has zero experience in the front office. And what does he do? He hires a first-time general manager to basically be his right-hand man and kind of probably guide him when it comes to running baseball ops, because Buster is clueless. Zach's been Farhan's right-hand man for 6 years. So at least he pulls the same guy instead of pulling somebody like Billy Owens from the A's, who you look at their drafting talent, Langoliers, it's one guy after another. It's Nick Kurtz. It's Brent Rook. They just keep pulling guys out of the hat. They draft guys and they're developing and they go young, and then they make a trade and they get DeVries, and we go for these names. Oh, we got to get Chapman and Adames and Devers because those are names. And then, I do love the Tony Vitello hire. I actually do. I think it's a great hire. But he has no experience either. So
True.
Buster's got nobody that's running the 3 heads that are running the ship. Buster, Zach, and Tony combined in their positions have like a year.
But they have done good in bringing in other guys sounding boards. Bobby Evans is there for Manassian to talk to. They have Bruce Bochy and Dusty Baker in the organization for Vitello to run things off of. You got Wotus there in the dugout. You've got there's people. Washington's in the dugout. You got a lot of guys with a lot of experience surrounding those guys. So I don't really have a problem with that. And the Giants farm system has made leaps and bounds in the last year. I think that, they keep jumping up the rankings. There's a lot of good young talent coming up in the Giants organization. They're just not here yet. You have to improve the team that you have at the major league level. You need to improve the farm system. And over time, you're going to be making, incremental strides to getting better. And I think they have done that. I'm not ready to bury them yet because they have been moving in the right direction. But
granted, that's
this
true.
team is underachieving. They're 2 of their best players that they count on are not producing, so they're gonna have to fix that. That's what they're gonna have to do.
I wonder if Posey got, and that's a great point, Dallas. I wonder if he got Dusty and Bochy in a room, no Vitello, just Buster and Bochy and Dusty, and ask them point blank, what can we do to improve this team? And don't hold back. Just tell it like it is. I really would be interested to hear what those 2 OGs would have to say. Would they want to move off of 1, 2, or 3 of those, big 3 core that we're talking about? It'd be interesting. The unholy trinity. It'd be interesting. The 3 Stooges. It'd be interesting to see what they ought to have to say. Excuse me.
I think Chapman, at the beginning of this year, I would say Chapman, because you move off of him, you have a third baseman ready to go, and he's playing great.
Yep.
So that's an easy one. And Chapman's, going to late when he gets into his mid 30s, it's going to be a tough contract to swallow. So that makes sense. Adames, I think we're fine with him. He's going to move to second eventually, and they'll have a new shortstop, and they kind of have that priced in. I haven't given up hope on him yet because he always starts this badly. So that's not Adames isn't my biggest concern. Devers is the one. He doesn't even have a no trade clause, but his contract is going to be hard if he doesn't get it going. So that's
why you got to hope he gets it going.
Yeah,
you got to hope.
I think the bat speed thing. I think it's just he's all out of whack. I think his mechanics are off, and he's maybe too stubborn to listen to them to make the changes to get back on track. So they need to get him. They need to fix him. It's imperative. Otherwise, they have a massive albatross hanging around their neck. That's what Dieter Kurtenbach said.
What happens if you had this team? What happens if you had this team? Drew Gilbert in center, Ramos in left. I guess Lee's okay and right now. He looks like he's maybe if he can keep this up, then Lee looks like a guy that is going to make contact and hit you 275, which is what we're projecting. Maybe he does even better than that. So you don't have much power in that outfield. That's not a great power hitting, but it's not a power park. Again, we talked about, and you had Casey at short and Eldridge at first. And I mean, Casey at third. Did I say short? I meant third. Mm-hmm. Casey at third, Eldridge at first, Susak behind the plate. I don't know who's the second baseman. Maybe it's Killian. And maybe you got Adames for a year or more at short until you can find a taker for him, until somebody like Josar's available or Level comes up. And you start getting better pitching. You draft this kid, Flora, out of Santa Barbara. And you got Bo Davidson coming up. You got Barracoto that's got some power. He could maybe be the DH. What sounds more appealing to you? What I just had or what they have now?
I would love a Davidson, Grant McCray, Barracuda outfield. I would love it. I would love it for 3 weeks. Play them every day. Let them take their bumps and grinds, whatever. I would love to see what they have to offer. Because, I'm not the biggest Drew Gilbert guy. I think he's just like a young Yaz to me. He's a fourth, fifth outfielder. He's good in spots. But those other three guys, I think, have more everyday potential and bigger upside. But it's not in the Giants' DNA, like I keep seeing in the chat, and it's consistent. We've been on here for 3 years, Dan. It's very consistent. The Giants will never rebuild. We've been asking for them, if they tank by July, get rid of older guys and get prospects. And they probably will never do it.
No, they will never do it. And they can't even do it because these guys have no trade clauses.
The ones that have no trade, I think, is just Chapman, right?
And Adames.
Adames got one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Positive.
I did not know that. Oh, my gosh. Posey just got, desperate. I'll give you a no trade. All a no trade is it really doesn't mean you can't trade him. It just means that the player has control where you trade him to.
You have to send him to a good situation.
The player has control of everything. When does management have control on a contract? Seriously, like Dallas said, it'd be nice if they had in that contract. But if you lie about your age, your money's gone.
Yeah,
right.
In normal businesses.
Okay, Dallas.
Normal businesses. See you, Dallas.
Dallas got to run. We'll catch him tomorrow night with the show. Hey, Los, you mentioned Bochy, putting Bochy and Baker in a room with Buster. I think you might get even a more sound answer if you brought in a couple people from outside the organization that actually looked and said, well, you guys, this is how we look at you guys.
Better.
Paid somebody, hey, I'll give you, going to give you, how people pay for speakers or whatever they get an honorarium for the night, 20 grand or 50 grand. Hey, look, man, we just want an honest answer out of somebody. Maybe somebody that's not affiliated with the team, but someone like a Ned Colletti who knows baseball, and he might tell you honestly, this is what we see, or maybe Steve Phillips, who's on baseball, MLB radio, who used to be the general manager of the Mets. Maybe he looks, or Dan Duquette, the former general manager of the Colorado Rockies. Maybe they look and go, well, you guys, this is what we look at and we see that you guys are, I don't know. I do think there is some positives, like Dallas mentioned about Randy Wynn. I think there's some young guys coming up in the system that I'm excited about. There's a good handful. I think the system is turning around. I think the problem with the Giants is if they were smart, they're not winning a world championship in the next 2 to 3 seasons.
No.
So why not move off these guys and get the younger guys so that when you're ready to maybe win a world championship, the next decade looks pretty good starting in 2030. You're going to have a lot of these guys if they pan out. Why not get more of those guys in the system and have too many of them? We got a problem. We got 3 great shortstop. Well, maybe you can trade 1 or 2 of them and get what you need.
How old is their phenom shortstop, their top prospect? Is he 19 or 18?
Gonzalez, I believe, is 19. Let me take a peek here. Josar, let me just look. I got a 1 sec here. Top 30 prospects, which is Bryce Eldridge, who's 21. Josar Gonzalez is born October 16th, 07. So he doesn't turn 20 till next year. He's 19. Wait a minute. He's going to be 19 this year. He's 18.
Jeez. Okay. So if he's like maybe one of the, core pieces, if he keeps going the way he is, you figure they bring him up maybe when he's 21. Like they should be, I hate to say it, but they should kind of be building toward like putting together a bunch of young guys around him at that time and let these young guys, develop and put them in the fire right now. The A's are probably like the Giants, not winning a World Series anytime soon either, but I love what they did. They knew they were not a World Series team. They traded their closer to the Padres and they got this stud Leo DeVries at shortstop.
Yes.
And he's, I think, 20, and he was raking in spring training. Whether he does it in the big leagues or not, I don't know. But I love getting prospects like that have high upside because that's how you build not just a good team, but a potential championship team. So just think if Gonzalez in 3 years is up and Eldridge is already established and he's your first baseman, and Barracuda or Davidson, one or both of those guys are doing well at that time. The Giants could have, for a change, a nice, young, homegrown team that is exciting. Now, that's what I want to pay my money and go see a game for. I don't want to see the same guys out there making big-time money that have the resume and have the reputation. But when it comes down to it, and there's a guy at third and less than 2 outs, continuously doesn't come through. And not even with a pop-up or a ground out. Just the strikeout is so deflating for everybody to not even be able to put it in play. It just really is.
Yeah. Hey, Los, you're a businessman. You're a money guy. You understand when it comes to money, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app, Los, that where you build your lineups by choosing whether players will have more or less than a projected stat total. Right now, new users get $50 in lineups when they play their first $5 in lineups. Los, I'm giving you give me 5 and I turn around and give you 50. How long are you going to play that game with me? Are we just going to sit there and just say, bring it on? I got all day. Every time you hand me 5, I give you 50.
I have played that game with you when we did our hats exchange. It wasn't money, but you got me back with a fantasy football trade.
Yeah, I got you with that fantasy football trade that won me the league. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, Prize Picks is giving you $50 for when you play $5. Not you play 50 and they'll match you 50. No, they're giving you 50 when you just play 5. So what are you waiting for? Get over to Prize Picks, download the app today, build your lineup, follow along while watching the games. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. There's the link in the description of this video you can click on. But guys, Prize Picks, and they're giving you only got to get, if you get 4 right, look, they give you a freebie. They give you a freebie because they have Rafael Devers with more than more than a half a strikeout. You just select that every time you play, and now you only need to get 3 right because that's going to happen.
So, Dan, staying with the young guy versus the veteran narrative. So, Harrison Bader versus Drew Gilbert. So far during the season, who's produced more?
Gilbert.
Okay. Patrick Bailey and Andrew Susak when they've been given chances.
Daniel Susak, Andrew's brother.
Daniel
Susak.
Susak. Okay, let's say the Giants did what the Giants always do. Let's say they re-signed Verlander, and he came back, and he was like 1-3 with like a 5.2 ERA, and he was making $15 million a year. Who would be better between him and Landon Roop?
Roop.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you give young guys that are talented a chance, are they all going to work? No. But at least if they don't work, they're not costing you $30 million a year. I mean, it's just better business. And I'm sorry, but me and Dan have been Giants fans for a long time. And Giants fans love their young homegrown talent. They loved Robbie Thompson. They loved Will Clark. They loved Matt Williams. They loved John Burkett. They loved their young Kurt Manwaring. I mean, just go down the list. They loved their
Gary Maddox,
talent.
Gary Matthews.
There's nothing more exciting.
Jack Clark.
There's few things more exciting as far as the baseball goes than when a top prospect comes up. I remember when Tim Lincecum made his first start, and he didn't do well. He got rocked by Philly, but you just saw his stuff. He passed the eye test, and you're like, oh, this kid's going to be part of our future? That's exciting, man. That is exciting as hell. And I just think, not that we got Lincecums and Bumgarners in AAA now, I don't think we do, but we got some guys that are interesting. Bo Davidson, there was a lot of hype on him. We saw him in spring training, Dan, and I know spring training isn't the measure and the be-all, but why not? Is it any good? Is it going to be any worse than what you're getting from Harrison Bader? Is it? Bring up the young guys. And that's not a rebuild. I'm sorry, but if the young guys play well, it's not a rebuild. They're actually winning with younger guys. Just because a guy's making $30 million a year doesn't mean that he's going to be better than a guy making $1 million.
How did Houston go from 100 losses, like 3+ years in a row, to becoming a viable team for a decade almost? Pretty much a decade. They got Altuve. They got Correa. They got Springer. They started getting other players like Bregman. There's 4 guys right there. And they just started, and then they get Yordan Alvarez from the Dodgers, and they start doing all these things with young guys, right? Now, some of them are gone. Correa, well, he's back with Houston, I guess, now, but Correa was gone for a while. Bregman's gone. But they got old and they moved off of him. They had Verlander. Yeah, I see that. But this is what they did. Now, again, I understand that Houston was tanking and losing, and they were getting the number 1 draft pick, and you can't do that in baseball anymore. But the Giants got to figure a way. they got a lucky break this year with the 4th pick in the draft.
Yep.
Because
take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it and start just going young, because now baseball's fluid, right? It's a long season. Things can change. You could go on a 10-game winning streak starting tomorrow, and all of a sudden, you go from 13-18 to 23-18, and everything seems pretty great and everybody's excited and happy. That can happen. What we're saying here is, when it comes to the trade deadline, if the Giants are not going to be a team that's in the hunt, then you have to blow it up. You can't say, well, we're going to have to do it next year. Because if they're not good enough to be in contention this year, what makes you think these guys, unless Adames and Chapman and Devers are like almost all stars, and it's something else that's causing the problem, like they can't pitch and they're not in games, that's a different story. But these guys are major contributors to why they don't look good. They're the biggest. Adames and Devers are the worst players on the team, Los.
Yep.
And Bailey. Those 3 guys are, all 3 of them are hovering 200 or less.
If you had to bet that the A's or Giants were going to have a better record this year with no trades done, no
A's.
upgrades, nothing.
A's.
If your house was on the line.
A's.
Yep. And how much less is their payroll?
Yeah.
I mean,
Way
just
less.
we said this a couple months ago, like position by position. I think the A's might be, hit the lineup definitely. If the A's get some pitching.
Hey, I was going to say, if they get some pitching, man. How about the Giants figure a way? If you were the Giants and the A's said, we'll give you DeVries for Webb, would you do it?
Yes.
Me too. I mean, would you do it as the Giants? I would. Would the A's do that, though?
No.
I don't think they would.
No. Lee's hot right now. And what do we always talk about together, Dan? Buy low, sell high. His stock is high right now. So maybe not just by himself, but like, let's say somebody wants Chapman, but they're saying, well, you got to eat half or most of his contract, and then we'll give you back a good prospect. That could be the time when then you counter and say, well, we'll throw in Lee. You eat all the contract. Because I know people are getting excited about Lee doing well right now, but he could go back in a tailspin just like that.
He could go back to Jung Hoo.
And what do I always say? When you get rid of a guy, it opens the door for somebody else. So let that be McRae, let that be Betancourt, let it be Bo Davidson, and just see what they can do. I haven't followed those guys to see what they're doing, but
yeah.
And I know spring training is not MLB. Somebody mentioned that. I understand that, but at the same time, we've said for a long time on here that I don't know what the Giants are doing in their minor league system, but when I see Harrison go to the Brewers and they tinker with him, and now he's doing a lot better. Maybe they told him, hey, you need to throw this pitch more. Don't we always hear these stories? Stop throwing your slider. It's not just focus on your changeup, your curve, and your fastball. And it's just something as simple as that. And now when it comes to the Giants hitters, I don't know what they're teaching them in the minor leagues, because it's been just far too long that they haven't produced a real bona fide superstar of an everyday player from their minor league system.
Hopefully Bryce will be that guy. We'll see.
Hopefully.
But
I hope.
Right now he'd be up here if they didn't have Devers. And he would be. He'd be here, but they got Devers, and so they're stuck. But we're going to end the show here, guys. We've been almost going a couple hours, which is a lot longer than we normally go. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Los coming on, adding his expertise. Hey, guys, there's 122 of you watching. We got 41 likes. I'd love to see that thing shoot up closer to 100. So there's about 80 of you in there right now. that if you would just go hit that little thumbs up sign in the deal, it means a lot to the show. Because what it does is it alerts YouTube that it's a show that, hey, there's something good over there. So would appreciate if you guys would just hit the like button. I don't like to have to ask. I really don't. I feel like I'm begging, but I've been in sales all my life, and if I never asked for the sale, I probably wouldn't be sitting in this house right now. I'd probably be sitting out in the street somewhere.
The Temptations have a song called "Ain't Too Proud to Beg." Play it after the show's over, Dan.
Ain't too proud to beg. I love
we're begging, man. Hit those likes, subscribe, do
it. Spencer says, "I'm begging for a Giants win tomorrow." Yes. All right, we shot up to 49. Thanks for those 8 of you who took the time to do that. Spencer says, "Good song." I'll have to listen to that.
Temptations. Ain't
Gravy
too proud
says, "Need to pay half of Lee's contract as well." Yeah, the contracts on this team, unreal.
Yeah,
good
call,
Gravy. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Let me play the band here, and we'll kick this. There we go. Oh, guys. Rough day, rough series for the Giants. And they got Tampa tomorrow. Robbie Ray on the mound. We'll be back tomorrow. Game time for that one should be about, I'm guessing, 3:40-ish. Let me take a peek. 4:10. And then they play Saturday at 3:10 our time. And then Sunday is a 10:40 game. So go ahead and come on back tomorrow night. Again, game time 4:10. So we'll probably 7-ish, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Everybody have a great Friday and enjoy your hump. I guess hump days was yesterday, but enjoy Friday. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks again. And to all those of you who hit the like, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Take care.